Hey guys, Justa guy here with another episode of the Tips and Tricks series. This is going to be how to build that cobblestone generator machine I showed you in the last episode. So let's get to it. I hate when I do that. So this is more or less the materials you should need for the full machine, all the pistons. This first row is the bottom 9 stick pistons and the piston wall and then the clock. The other pistons you might not need if you didn't want to do the sides and the top to extend it further. You will need at least 9 buckets of lava if you want to do the bottom, another 9 if you want to do the top, some water. It'll be about 18 as well, but if you have an infinite water source, it shouldn't be too hard. But yeah, so let's get started with the pistons on the bottom. You need 9 sticky pistons and then 9 blocks of some kind to put on top of it. I thought I had them in here. I guess I didn't. But I use glass so I could see through it. And see if any of the pistons happen to not be working or some other problem happens. So you want to start somewhere between 8 blocks off the ground or 8 blocks off of where you want to build. It doesn't necessarily need it, but as you can see, there's going to be a lot of cobblestone coming out of this. You need a storage and rerouting system for your items of some kind, so that's going to take space. So I'd suggest a couple blocks. The actual build is 22 blocks high from the very bottom here where the pistons are to the very top of where the dispenser is. It's about 19 blocks wide side to side and 20 blocks long deep, so it's not too huge, but it is a pretty large chunk. It's not counting, the storage or possible feed of it from the top you might have for TNT. And you can TNT duping in theory should work for this if you wanted to add that to the top instead of actual feeding TNT. But I'm not quite sure how to do it. I built a TNT duper somewhere in the boonies, over there somewhere. It didn't work out so well. Like, I couldn't get it to drop an exact height. I'd have to put it up 70 some blocks above my machine and have it fall. I couldn't figure out how to get it to be held up, because if you had a piston or anything anywhere near it, it would just update the TNT and blow up, and constant problems. But to start this from the bottom, you want to do 9 pistons facing up. If you push blocks underneath them, it makes it a little easier, but these don't actually have to be here. They're just make it easier to place. And you want 9 blocks on top. Theoretically, even if you don't do these, the sticky pistons will go up and grab a piece of cobblestone and pull it back down for the first time, and then after that they'll just have one, so it's not a huge issue. After that, you want a block of your choice. I'm just going to use iron because it's a little more visible. You're going to need a lot of blocks of iron. Blocks, like, I don't know exactly how many. I counted about 150. But they can be any block that's blast resistant, like stone, cobblestone, iron, maybe wood, I'm not quite sure. Anything that's basically not glass, netherrack, or tree leaves. Because those ones will get blown up like 6 to 7 blocks away, a little bit further than most. But you just want to go 1 block underneath, right? And 2 blocks out. This is for the redstone wiring of these pistons. And this is my first build video ever, and I'm messing it up so bad. But yeah, so we'll get some of this dust. This first part should take about 60 redstone dust, but again, there might be some room for error on my part. We'll take our levers, our observers. Okay, that should be everything for a while. It's going to take quite a few repeaters. Right here takes 9, obviously. All set to 1 tick. You're just basically doing this so they power it directly and they don't overlap. Right? And then from there, it gets a little more complicated. I mean, I've built this like 4 times and I still have to look at my little cheat sheet. So you want to come out 2 blocks with a repeater, set the 4 ticks right there. And then a dust. Then you want 2 blocks. I have them going up, but they don't necessarily have to. It's just for the rest of the stuff to be in the right level. kind of does. So you want these to be here. Things like that. Yeah. So, oh, no, it's not. Get rid of that. Okay, so 2 dust here. And then you want a 1 tick repeater facing in with a 3 tick repeater facing into that one, so it'll short it out every once in a while. This has to be 3 ticks. If it's 4 ticks or any other ticks, it just doesn't work, and this thing just locks all the pistons in the up position. You might not have to do this if you had a different clock, but what I was using seemed to need this, so you just need a bunch of dust. And then it gets a little more complicated. A block here. I mean, anywhere along this side would work. With another repeater. And set to 1 again. And then trying to read my little. It'd be nice if I had a second screen. I have to make a little paper. So you got these, the dust. And then okay, yeah, so there's an observer here. You don't need this block per se. You want it to observe that direction and feed this direction. And then this is not a dust, it's a repeater. Set the 1 that feeds into a block that's a 1 above. I put dust on it, but I don't know if you necessarily have to. And then wait. I think this is where it goes. For some reason yeah, okay, that does work. Okay. I'm gonna take this off. I guess it doesn't need to be there. Break that real quick. But as you can see, actually I'll fix this again. Oh well. Okay, so let's get to this part over here. Oh, we go down from the piston. Okay. Put a torch right here. That'll power the piston. And just shoot it through once. Then we want to have a block right here. This is just the on and off switch. And I rewired it a little bit from the video, the last one if you saw that. So you can turn the entire thing on and off from one spot. Okay, I'm sorry, this is surprisingly annoying, even though I know it's not very difficult. Okay, and then it should just be like this. Not sure why I did this, but okay, see, it goes up and down. Now if you had changed this to anything else, it would just get locked in various stages of not working. But this, it pulses. Now, you could have probably done something different than that super fast speed, but that's what I found that works. Maybe a 1 item hopper clock, but whatever. And then from over here, you would tower up with a piece of glass to the top to turn off the TNT part. But this is what we got so far, right? And now we're going to go to the water and cobblestone generator part. So we need our water bucket. Don't need these. So you mostly need your water and your lava and this video. So you want to be right here. In terms of spawn proofing this, you don't have to worry about anything where there's redstone, but anything else you will. So this is the lava side. You only need to go out 2 blocks, and then you want a wall. Now I'm going to use glass here just so I can see through easily in case there's an error, like some of the lava gets messed up. I just think it looks cool, but again, it doesn't have to be glass. I would say it needs to be a transparent block if you can, or a slab at top, just so things can't spawn here, but other than that, it's no issue. And then you want to come out the other side. I swear this should be up higher. Just seems odd. But whatever. So on this side for water, you need to come out 8 blocks. Because you want the water to be fully extended. Like I mentioned in the last video. You don't want it to have a chance of running into the lava. And to do this, you just want to go like this. I think that's 8. Easy way to always check is just build up the wall and see if it runs out. Okay. So as you see, that stops directly at there. That's a good. You don't want to go to the glass or beyond because it might run to the lava. So you just need to come around the back and make sure it's all flowing blocks if you can. I mean, theoretically it doesn't have to be, but it's just better tick rates for the lava chances. And then the same for this, all along the back wall. Now be careful, it is lava, and you have to go every square, unlike the water. And it should make lava like that. Now, you don't have to cover this, but I would suggest it just for safety reasons. On this side. I mean, I'm in creative, but I mean, otherwise, just dangerous having exposed lava. Not just to falling in it, but you might spill water on it and put it out. So this will go up, and then on this side, you're going to build up a layer as well, but just yet, what you want to do is come over here and turn the machine on, and it should push up to max height over here. It'll push 12 blocks, so it'll be 11 blocks theoretically because of the glass block here counts against it. Which is important because for the next step, I find easiest, is you want regular pistons. You'll need about 72 of them. Because you want to go from the very top and down 9 blocks and place pistons all over them. So turn this off now that it's stopped. You can do this either way. You can go from the top down or the bottom up. If you go from the bottom, you're going to be skipping the first 3 rows. So 1, 2, 3, and then this would be the first piston. But it's also easier just to go from the top. So you want to... You're going to need some helper blocks. After you get 1 in there, it's really simple. You just click on the edge of the back. Oops. Piston facing is always annoying. I wish there was a wrench or something that turned it in vanilla. Okay, so you're gonna go, oops, all the way across, except for the dead middle. You're gonna go 4 from either side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that one will be down. So you have 4 on either side. That one is just gonna be empty, so you can put any block in there you want, or no blocks at all technically. And that one is just not gonna get pushed, because that one is where the TNT is going to be falling down. So now you just need to get rid of this. I mean, it's kind of annoying, but it's nice to make sure you put these in the right spot. And I'm going to do this real quick and I'll get right back with you guys. Alright guys, so we got our big wall of pistons. As you can see, it's 3 gaps from the bottom. The one where they form and then 2 above that. And if we turn this on, it would shoot out a big thing over there. But it's a little bit easier to build the next part before you do that. So, right here you want some more blocks of any kind, really. This is going to form the base. So you want to build basically right above the other one. Oops. Now again, this could be almost any block. I would suggest not glass for the floor. Just because it's going to be right where the TNT falls. Now, oops. You can do this after you do the stone. I actually did it the first time through. You choose the trapdoor to get underneath here. But it's much harder. So, this is where you're going to do. You're going to notice to be a 1 gap between the floor and where you're standing. And let me just put this in real quick. Okay. as you can see, we got this little spot. And if we put up some water down, it'll be exactly 8 to the edge. This is going to be where the TNT explodes the cobblestone over this. This is the first little part, and then you'll have another drop of 3 coming out here. Because if you push this out, it'll go to 12, which will be like a couple blocks off of this. This is good for now. This is the hard part to get into normally. I would suggest some light sources in there. You can use jack-o'-lanterns, or you can use sea lanterns. Whatever design you really want. It's just so you can see if you need to come in here, or maybe slow down the spawn of bats. I'm not sure about jack-o'-lanterns, but I had sea lanterns in there for hundreds of blasts and they never blew up. So I don't think they're any less durable than sea lanterns. So now for this massive piston wall, it is, as you can see, just a bunch of repeaters facing in. Pretty simple. But the big trick is to get the power from the bottom here, you need the observer, which is just right here, I believe. Okay. So for building this, you want to start right here. Observer facing down towards the signal. It'll detect when that comes out. And then you just start putting some power blocks up to there. So you'll want to, you can use any blocks you want really. Glass is a little better in terms of power transfer, but you don't need it. You just want to all the way around here. 2 blocks out again. Oops. Yeah. You want to have it so the repeaters can face straight in. And you just do this. Now, you will need to boost the signal. So every level you go up, so this will go up. Okay, so I made this a little complicated. What I did was I went out the repeater, and then that went into a block. No delay, because it splits into 2 signals here. One for the pistons up the side, and then one's for over here. So for now, we just need to worry about these. And that should be good. Turn this on, it should run. Yep, okay. All of them are firing. That one's a little delayed. Oh yeah. Now be careful with your delays. It's so easy to right click on them on accident. There we go. So as you can see, it's working. And it has that one little thing for the water, and it'll blow up and fall down. So as you can see, the middle's not going anywhere because it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be pushed from the side if it does. So now we got to the end of the row, and you just go out a block, up a block. You're going to have the repeater feed into there so it starts the new chain. Put a dust on here. Put some glass. Gotta put some glass on here. There we go. And so it can go up without cutting off the signal. And then you just go to the next row. Repeating. Since it's directly powering all these pistons, you only still have to do every other one, because it'll power the surrounding pistons. So it's alright. And then this is just repeat and repeat. Let me get to the top and I'll get back to you guys. Alright, when you're done, it should look something like this. I noticed I made a little difference. I did the power the first row, and then skipped every other row, right? On my original build, I had skipped the first row and powered every other row from there. But it's basically the same. Every time you power a piston, every piston around it will get powered. So you might be able to do a little less, but after you get all this done, you want to test the machine to make sure it works, obviously. Make sure all these pistons are firing. Nice little stagger. Mostly because all the pistons you had to put in there to delay every level. Should also cut down on lag a little bit so they're not all firing at exactly the same time. But as you can see, it's fairly slow to go from nothing. But it'll get there eventually. Let me turn down the sound a little bit. Whatever in Minecraft sound volume say it's super low, but sometimes it doesn't say so. Like you have it 1% and it still seems loud. Okay, so we got all these pistons. Now, this is functional. You almost don't need anything else if you really don't want to in terms of the pistons. I did the sides and the top because as you can see, this is fairly slow. It'll take like 2-3 minutes to go from absolutely nothing to full. Just due to how slow the lava piston update cobblestone thing goes sometimes. But from here, we go on to the top cobblestone is what I usually do. So let's turn this off. And from here, you just want to start right here and do the same. You're going to skip 3 layers up. So 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to have your pistons facing down. Let me get some stuff together and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, so for this it's pretty simple. You just go up 3 layers. 1, 2, 3. And you want your new platform to be on level with that 3rd layer. So you want to have your pistons and your sources of lava and water on this layer. Oops, well your piston went higher. So this time the water's gonna have to come out the back way because that in the front is not enough room between you and the TNT dropper for the most part. I mean, last time I measured it anyway. So let me just get this ready and we'll get right back. Alright guys, after you get done it should look something like this. 8 blocks deep, 9 blocks wide for the water, and then 2 deep and 9 wide for the lava. And this is where they meet in the middle. I'm going to put the water in first, the lava in second, because the current glitch with the 3rd block of lava not turning into cobblestone. But I actually recorded this a little bit earlier and had to redo it because I realized it's incredibly hard to put the pistons in when the lava's already in. So what you want to do is put some helper blocks up. Well, this doesn't have to be glass, by the way. I just like the way glass looks when you look at it, lava. So you want to put a helper block there, above it actually, and just start the pistons. You want 9 facing down, which is always a pain. If you get right near it and click the top, though, you can get the thing without a helper block all the way. Or you can just put helper blocks the entire way across. It makes it easier. So that should be there, like that. And now you can put in the lava. Oops, water first. And if you're in survival, be very careful to long fall down or the lava burns. It's always dangerous. And you want a lava source in every spot, obviously, if you can. And it should do this. And I put the pistons too high. Well, I'm going to get these down, and then I'll show you how to wire these up. Alright guys, so it should look like this. Pistons right on top of it facing down. They're going to be regular pistons at this position so that it's 12 blocks, more than 12 blocks from here to here. It actually stops right there. So these two can't push each other out of position. You don't need obsidian blocks or anything around here. So to power these, I just put a block like here. and then some sort of block here for safety. And then you just want to take the power from here and carry it up. So you can do this any way you want. Glass blocks are the easiest in terms of not having to use a lot of space. They don't cut the power off of each other, although in this current case I'm not really doing that. Oops. Just want to take it up here. And it's pretty simple, just save it. There we go. And that was a repeater, so I don't have to worry about the power. And just take it across. So these are sort of good. You don't have to use repeaters feeding to these ones. And that's that. Now you'll notice if you turn it on, much faster. Blocks are coming constantly from both directions. They should be. Huh. These are not... It's got power. Alright, so this fixed it, guys. I just forgot this repeater, I believe. I had a repeater right here. Feeding into a block. And I think that smoothed out the signal on that side. Let's destroy a bunch of blocks. Test it out. So it's pushing down now. That's good. See, I just forgot a repeater. It has to be off signal slightly. Can't click it at the same time. But I started making a block like this much faster. Sorry guys, it messed that up so bad, I don't know how. And now we just need to cover the sides. You can use any block you want, or almost no block actually. You'd only lose a very few items. Now this can be glass in some parts like I showed you in my other thing if you really want to. But any block that has a decent blast resistance of cobblestone or better works. You don't have to be a solid anything. I mean, anything basically but the super breakable things like netherrack and glass. And you're just going to go around the entire outside of where this cube is to sort of hold the things in. And you're good. Now you can make this as aesthetically look pleasing as you want. I don't know if I'm going to do anything super fancy because one, I'm not that good of an aesthetic builder. But two, it's just a cobble farm. I'm not sure what I could do with it without, you know, using breakable materials or transparent materials that might let items out. But let me fill this in. I'll get right back to you guys. Alright, so this fixed it, guys. I just forgot this repeater, I believe. I had a repeater right here. Feeding into a block. And I think that smoothed out the signal on that side. Let's destroy a bunch of blocks. Test it out. So it's pushing down now. That's good. See, I just forgot a repeater. It has to be off signal slightly. Can't click it at the same time. Is that pushing down? These are not firing. There we go. I think that works. Hard to tell when it's so full. I'll get it easier when its TNT goes. But it should be like this. You just need a repeater. Maybe set. I'll fix it later when I can test it better. But I started making a block like this much faster. Sorry guys, it messed that up so bad. I don't know how. And now we just need to cover the sides. You can use any block you want, or almost no block actually. You'd only lose a very few items. Now this can be glass in some parts like I showed you in my other thing if you really want to. But any block that has a decent blast resistance of cobblestone or better works. You don't have to be a solid anything. I mean anything basically but the super breakable things like netherrack and glass. And you're just going to go around the entire outside of where this cube is to sort of hold the things in. And you're good. Now you can make this as aesthetically look pleasing as you want. I don't know if I'm going to do anything super fancy because one, I'm not that good of an aesthetic builder. But two, it's just a cobble farm. I'm not sure what I could do with it without, you know, using breakable materials or transparent materials that might let items out. But let me fill this in. I'll get right back to you guys. Alright guys, it should look something like this after you're done. Obviously I just put these magnet blocks and all that for aesthetic reasons. But anything that's solid can be on these sides really. I just thought magma blocks look cool because, you know, cobblestone, magma, lava, you know, whatever. You want to leave a hole. So you cover basically everywhere there's cobblestone, right? It should come out 12. You want to cover all the way out to here, which should be about 3 blocks over where your water stream ended. You want to come out 2 blocks, and then this row right here will be hoppers. I didn't quite finish the sides because we need to get in there still. But right here in the middle, you want to be 5 blocks from the edges. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want, yeah, 5 from the end to make sure, but you want to make sure there's also 5 this way. 5, yeah. And there's 2 extra because it does push out 12. So yeah. And that way it has 2 extra spots so it never blows up the piston wall as well. And then if you come out on top, you'll notice it's also 5 from the edges. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So dead center of this thing. And in all directions it has 4 cobblestone other than the little thing. Now obviously if you're building with magma blocks like I did just for aesthetic reasons, be careful. You can't hurt yourself if you're not in creative obviously. Frostwalker boots help, although you might accidentally freeze these water sources, which would be bad. So next is, you could either do the sides or whatever, but I'm going to do this little feeding tube. So what you want to do is probably replace the most lower parts right here with obsidian, or you might get away with stone, but remember it's blowing up right down there, so I would suggest obsidian for, which is bad if you just do what I did, mess up the feeding tube. And then as you saw on the last video if you watched it, the 2 on either side seem to blow up a little bit more. These are covered by blocks most times, they're okay. But this should be obsidian if you can help it. If not, you might have to replace these blocks occasionally. I've almost never seen them break, but when they're stone, but they could in theory because they're like 6 blocks away. And then you want to come up 4. So 1, 2, 3, and then on this 4th layer, you're going to put your pistons. So you want to put your block. I don't know if it really matters which direction it faces, but I do it facing the front here where all the stuff points out. I think if you pointed it another direction, you might run into problems with matching it up with the signal down there. But you want to have a piston, sticky piston facing into this block. You want it to be able to push in and push out as a stopgap for the TNT. So you're going to come up a layer from the piston, right? You want an air block layer. I would suggest at least one piece of glass here if you can help it, just so you can see in to know the TNT is working and stuff like that. And then you want to go around again and then put a helper block right here. I'll just do iron. And then you want to place your dispenser facing down. Hold shift to make sure you don't fall down the hole and kill yourself. And then get rid of, put helper block and then TNT. We went up this high because for whatever reason, if there's a mistake, if there's a blockage, TNT blows up about 4 to 5 blocks in all directions. 6 if it's like really fragile like glass or an entity like redstone sometimes. So this will protect the dispenser from a misfire for the most part, unless this part here messes up. So from here it's pretty simple. You just want to connect this to that. Alright guys, take 3. So I'm having some trouble with this redstone. Explaining it properly, I always have the placement wrong. So what I've done is simply built the blocks beforehand. I'm just going to walk you through the placement of the redstone. First thing you want to do is put a torch here on a block right there with a block above it. That will power this piston constantly until the signal tells it to stop, which it'll just do briefly. So you want to have a redstone repeater facing into this block, and you want to have 7 of these facing that way with 4 ticks delay, and then 1 with 1 tick. There we go. You should have a gap here if you built these blocks like mine. Like I said, you can put the blocks as you put the redstone. I just had trouble explaining it. And then you want to have 1 here with 1 tick delay and a redstone dust up top to make the dispenser fire. While you're doing this, I would never put your TNT in here yet. Wait until later. And you want to come down, just run the signal over here. You can have them right next to the repeaters because the signal won't cross. And then over here you want to have 1 redstone dust, comparator, repeater, right? And then you can put your hoppers. You can put a placement block down for the first one. Shift click into the block, and then shift click into that hopper. Oops. And it should look like that with the 2 things facing into each other. You put a block in there, it should just shoot back and forth. And that means you know you did it right. Getting it out is a little harder again. There we go. And you just want to loop a redstone block in front of that, right? Oops. And then you want 2 sticky pistons. If I can get up there. Flying is hard, guys. The birds make it look easy. There we go. Then you want a 1 spot gap so you don't cover the other thing, and you want to put your other piston like there. So they'll push the block back and forth between each other to make the very simple clock. I think Etho was the first person to make it, but I don't know. It's been so long. And then you go same thing on the other side. Comparator out of the hopper, a redstone repeater. Did I mess this up somehow? Because these should not touch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay, so that's 8. There we go. So 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. You double check these obviously, because this is like the single most important part of this machine. Is if this timing's messed up, you will probably either blow up the TNT early and blow up your whole top, or just blow up the bottom and maybe mess something up too. There we go. So this will feed power from here into this piston to tell it to move, and then same with on this side. And then from over here, you just want some redstone dust from this side feeding in to your clock. And or actually what I did before was this, so I don't have to go so far. You can go out that far. If what I just did, you might need a repeater anyway, though. And then I just, oops, did 2 repeaters like that so the signals didn't cross. Just 1 tick, it doesn't really matter. And that should be this. This should work. So you want to put, I think it was 35 items of any kind in here. So let's, you can mess with the timings yourself. I would say be careful about going below 30. Because the delay cycles down over, you know, 7 times 4 redstone ticks and then 1. So this will still be going otherwise if the signal's not working right. But this should retract the piston and we're good. And then as you can see, it stays on for the full cycle and then it turns off as this moves around. Now for the off switch, you want to come beneath one of these blocks here. Any one of these works. And come down 1 block beneath. Put a block up. Right? Yeah. Put a redstone torch. This will keep this on. It'll lock it so it can't move. And you're all good. And then what you want to do is stairway down with some glass or some other blocks if you don't feel comfortable with glass. Glass makes it a little easier because you can cut the signal off without worrying about it. So you just want to pick some, I think you need a repeater right here. Yeah, we'll do that. And we'll do this. So you want it to come down here and meet that. So with glass, you can do this. Oops. Actually, I don't think it's really important. There we go. Let's start from down here. It's a little easier. So we want to come up. Again, there we go. You can do this. It'll come up this side and like that. If you use any other block, this connection right here would be broken. So it has to be a transparent block. So you got glass, I think tree leaves, and some others. You could do this all the way up. Although you do need to come in some. So like that. And you just want to get it up there. You want to avoid coming too close to this edge though, because you're going to have some pistons there eventually if you're doing the full build. So these obviously don't have to be glass when you're coming in closer, just when you're stacking on top of each other for safety, space sake. And there we go, we're touching. So you only need glass for a couple blocks if you want to save a little space like this. You could easily stairway this whole thing without it. I'm not sure. So we're gonna turn this on just to see, make sure it works, and make sure there's signals strong enough to go all the way up there. I didn't count if it's 15 blocks or not. So it stops right here. So what we're gonna do is have to put a block like. Actually, you can just do this. The old repeater into a block trick to make a strong signal. Makes it a little easier. And you still get some elevation. There we go. So this will turn this off. It'll make this start to work again. These are running. So the same time that turned the machine on to push the cobblestone, that turned on the dropper. And we're all good. And if you turn this off, man, my flying skills suck. This will turn off too, and it won't progress anymore. If it's stuck on the other side, this side, it'll still move a little bit, I think. But if they're over here, all the ones that are over there will stay there. It'll eventually turn off. Even might take a cycle. So now all we have left is this collection method, which I'll do right now. I just did some hoppers. Actually, there we go. Facing into the middle. So it's really hard to shift click while you're flying, to be honest. I don't know how some YouTubers do it. I don't know if there's a mod or a key binding you can use better. Maybe you can switch it so flying isn't shift. Oops. You just want to hold shift and do all these. And then from the other side, do the same. Oops. And then from the very middle, you have some choices. You can have them feed into a really massive system, or you can just have the two middle ones face into one chest. Obviously, it does do more than a double chest. It says like 2.5 double chests an hour. But if you're just running it for like 10-15 minutes, it should work fine. So you want to do is come out, put a chest, and then you can have both these feed into it. Or actually, a better method would be have it face the other way so you could actually open it. If you're doing just this and nothing else. So face that. And now we gotta. It's one of the new problems with the new chest mechanics is you can't shift click a chest because it'll make it not place. Like that, see? It won't connect. I don't like that, to be honest. I mean, not connecting can be useful sometimes, but sometimes you want them to connect. So there we go. My really janky method of trying to get things up here. And then if you put these two hoppers facing down into the chest, and get it to go without opening it. There we go. These entire things will all feed into these and then into these. That's a very simple method of collection that'll hold up to most use. And then I'm just using glass on the bottom here so I can see, because I like to see when it's working or not. Although we're going to need to get in there. So pump that. Because we're going to need to put some water here. Now what I did was very simple. Just all along here, you want to put water sources. So what I found worked easiest. Trying to have it feed all into the middle was difficult due to the dimensions. There was always dead spots. So just all feeding out. Can I get out? There we go. Hit a crouch for some reason. Yeah, there's dead spots, so this just works. Most of them all fall in the middle anyway, like right down the center. When I mess this up, I mean, it doesn't matter, but for aesthetics, I usually like to keep the two in the middle with 4 on either side. That is gonna bother me, so sorry guys. I know some of you guys are probably screaming. It's a crime against aesthetics. There we go. To be honest, you could have a single chest under every hopper if you really wanted to. The ones in the middle would get the most use, though. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, man, I messed that up, too. Wow. These are really, really annoying mechanics. Make them to connect now is hard. Sort of offset by the usefulness, but that is now functional. Everything works. If we got up here and put some TNT, it would actually work. So let's get some TNT. Now, as you might have watched my later video. It can go through quite a bit. It's like 135 in an hour if you run it. Now this might not keep up because we haven't done the sides yet, but let's just run this to test. Make sure everything's running right. Now, you can have a door here, like you might have seen on my other video. I'd suggest an iron door just for the blast resistance, but you can get in and out. So now it should drop. There we go. Everything blew up okay. I'm not sure about the blast pattern. Looks okay. Should basically be a complete circle with the very bottom one being mostly okay. Now this is probably not going to be fully recovered by the time the next TNT comes down, because I have the timing set to all the piston walls being here, not... There we go, yeah. So yeah, this is what it should look like. The blast pattern should be a circle. Obviously you don't want to be anywhere blowing it up if you're not in creative, but you can turn the machine off, the piston wall, and just dispense the TNT manually to test it out. And all this stuff should be coming into these chests. Seems like the left side's favored over the right, but so we'll turn this off, and then we'll get started on the side bits. Now be careful, this is live. You might want to remove the TNT, because if you mess up the redstone up here somehow, some way, it might start firing on you, but it should be okay. Oh, I messed this up when I was doing the aesthetics. I didn't want to block this. But yeah, guys, let me get some stuff together and I'll be right back. Alright, guys, so we got stuff. You're going to need about 18 blocks of obsidian or any other immovable block, which I believe is... They can also take a redstone signal. I know I hear terracotta clay is also immovable and can take a signal. Melons used to be immovable, but I'm not sure. Not melons. They don't stick to pistons. Furnaces used to be immovable, but I'm not sure if they still are. So basically, obsidian and terracotta are the two I know of, other than bedrock, obviously. So you just want to come over here. You make sure this is off. And if you have that safety glass block, you should be safe. And just, you want to break some blocks so you can get in here. Use scaffolding or whatever to get up. You could have done this earlier. Oops, I messed that up. Done this earlier, but I just find building this last because I designed it this way. I built everything else and found out there was a problem. So you want to come out 2 blocks from this edge and place your obsidian right there, and it only has to be like from here up to where the piston wall would stop. Right, so 9 blocks up on each side, and then you just come and place pistons facing out. And you shouldn't get trapped in here because you can just break these. So even if you're in survival, you should be able to do this easily enough. You could actually start from the top and work your way down when you wouldn't even need scaffolding. I mean, once you're at the top anyway. And then you just want to do the same on the opposite side. But first, let me show you how to power this. So you just want to take the signal that's already here from this and come over. Now you want to come down. And you want to put a redstone repeater straight into the block. Right? But you also want to come over, right, like that. I don't have any redstone dust on me. And then from here, you can save a lot of space if you use glass. So you can come straight up like this, right? And you can power upwards through glass. It won't go downwards through glass though. So that's a distinction to remember if you want to do it later. And you can just keep doing this all the way up. Now obviously only these 2 blocks have to be glass on either side. This one facing into the machine can be something else. But I just have glass on my hotbar, so that's okay. This is probably the only part of the machine that absolutely has to be glass if you want to save a lot of space. And you just want to do basically every other block as you're allowed due to spacing. And you can actually click straight on top of redstone and it'll put a block above it. So if I click on this redstone, it'll put a block there. It's kind of nice to do the half blocks. So we just keep going up. And like I always suggest, after you do a lot of redstone, test the machine. Make sure it works. So it should look like this. Should work, right? And if you turn this on, these should move. Assuming there's any blocks to move. Actually, this should have been... Oh, I shouldn't have tested this. Should not have tested this. Well, I guess so. But I don't think I actually needed these bottom ones. I don't think I did that over here. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. But yeah, you don't actually need these bottom ones. So that doesn't need to be there. Oops, that does. I was wondering why everything looked weird. Oops. And then, as far as I remember, these only need a 1 tick. Oh no, they're all 2 tick. That way, they don't fire at the same time the other ones do. Yeah. I was wondering why things were a little weird. So these should all be 2 ticks. Let me turn it on again. It's going to cause some problems on the other side, as we'll see. But so yeah, now it fires when the other ones aren't firing. And this will help push everything over to the side, so that if there's some sides that are a little more aggravated than others. But as you can see, it's coming out over here because these push 12 and it's only 9 long. So it will come out 3 more. So that's why we have the obsidian, so that the blocks don't get pushed out. I mean, alternatively, you could just have these be out 2 or 3 more blocks. So that I think the piston would start right here, so that each of them have 12 blocks to push. But what I was doing was just having obsidian, so it's a little more compact. Otherwise you get stuff like this. And if it pushes your pistons out of the way, you're in trouble. So like I said last time, you can start from the top and work your way down. Obviously you still want to come out 2 blocks. Oops. And do your obsidian. I don't think 18 obsidian or so for the whole build is too hard. Maybe 25 if you built that out of obsidian. Again, it doesn't have to be, but it does seem to help. This side's a little more compact. And then you can just squeeze in here. And put it in your pistons. Dig your way down as you do it. I mean, it is annoying to dig through cobblestone in survival, but not that bad. Alright, and then the last 2 you don't need unless you get out. Mess that up again with the obsidian, but whatever. At least I'm smart enough to catch it this time. So, you just want to steal the signal from over here. You will need to go down a block though. Oops. My mouse got a little click happy. Because you want to be on this level. And then you just do what I did last time. So I'll be right back with you guys. Alright guys, so this side's all done as you can see. I did take out this 1 block that was right here because I built too high again. Obviously you don't need the pistons to go beyond the piston wall. I also made some slight changes up here. I put repeaters in the blocks up here because it seemed like these first 2 rows here were never firing. But this didn't make a difference, so I guess it's just the matter of block update rates that these ones at the bottom or whatever get done first, but these ones just don't seem to move. Not very. It's like I know that the stacks there don't need it very often. But yeah, guys. So this thing's all done now. It's running. I ran it for an hour and got some rates. As you can see from the inside, it blows up, pushes the blocks out, and more come down. It's set to 34 items for a delay. It seems to be a pretty good delay. It almost never fails to push out blocks. Although it looked like that very last time it might have almost not done it. Depends on the updates for lava. If you want to be a little more conservative, 35 items is usually too much. But if you're going for efficiency, it's probably the best if you don't care how long it takes. But 34 is pretty good. As you can see, this will just put it out and then TNT will drop. No matter how big the explosion is, it does it. And then I just put more chests because when I was doing the hour-long test, those wouldn't hold. So these are the rates. 2 full double chests. And then a third one that's almost full. A total of 155 stacks and 5 blocks. 34 item filter. 336 TNT in 1 hour. And then 9,925 blocks, or 72.9 blocks per TNT. It's a little worse than last time, but I know my last video I made of this, I think I messed up on the math because I somehow was over 10,000 with 154 stacks, so I must have hit the wrong key on my calculator. But yeah, it's still really good. It's over a stack per TNT on average. And as long as you let the TNT or the cobblestone completely recover between explosions, it's way above. There's still some randomness to the explosions and the harvesting, but very few blocks get lost to the explosions because they always get pushed out. So guys, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. But yeah, this is just a guy signing out. Catch you guys later. Bye.